Guys, don't forget to thumbs up the video and subscribe if you're new to the channel. I make boxing content, on a daily basis. Very consistent channel. I keep it raw. I keep it funky. Now, I want you guys to check this tweet. Deontay Wilder posted a tweet, right? They call me the hashtag bronze bomber, but I look best in green. Hashtag bomb squad. Hashtag Sophia the Bell. Hashtag WBC. Well, the WBC, which is the organization that basically Wilder, belt is from, the WBC, they replied. WBC stands for World Boxing Council, as you can see. So they replied, "You have come from difficult dark places to shine and share your light. Green is the color of hope, and gold is the color of glory. You represent the WBC belt with grace. We are proud of you, Deontay. You deserve everything you've earned. Congratulations. Hashtag respect. Hashtag WBC." So the WBC, as you can see, just told Wilder that he represents the WBC belt with grace and he deserves everything he's earned. Congratulations. So clearly the WBC are cool and friendly with Deontay Wilder. But what I don't understand is, they say Wilder represents the WBC belt with grace, but how is that when he's defending, what is the standard for the WBC? I mean, these are guys that made Stavern mandatory when he hadn't fought in 2 years. 2 years. And the WBC made Stavern mandatory. A guy who was past his prime, fat, out of shape, didn't deserve it. Coming off a 2.5, almost 3-year layoff. So I guess that's the standard for the WBC. I guess that's what they're proud of, right? I guess that's what you need to earn to get respect, is defending your belt against guys of that level, right? I mean, the WBC also had no problem when Andre Ward, when Deontay Wilder was gonna fight Andres Warziak. If you remember, he was gonna fight last year before Andres Warziak failed a drug test and got popped dirty. He was gonna face and then he fought what's his name, Gerard Washington. But before he fought Gerard Washington, before Andres Warziak got popped dirty, he was gonna face him. Andres Warziak was a guy that Deontay Wilder picked out of obscurity. I never even heard of the guy. But I guess the WBC is proud of that. I guess the WBC is proud of Wilder defending his belts against guys like, Eric Molina, Johan Duhaupas. Because all Wilder's really been doing for the past 3 years is defending his belt against guys that he should be fighting, that he should have fought when he had like 20 fights. You know what I'm saying? But I guess that's the standard for the World Boxing Council. I guess the WBC standard is, you don't need to fight, good level of opposition or defend your belt against, high quality. I should say, you don't need to defend your belt against high quality opposition, if your name is Deontay Wilder and you got that belt named Sophia around your waist. You know what I'm saying? I guess that's the standard, Listen, man. It just, I've heard some people say, that the World Boxing Council is like, WBC is like the Wilder protection program. They protect them. I've even seen some people say that, they, these organizations, like they purposely put steroids on these guys so Wilder doesn't have to step up. I think that's outrageous. I would never say something like that. There's no proof of that. But I do think it's odd that a lot of the fighters that he fights when he fights a guy that's supposed to be a dangerous threat, they pop dirty. I do think that's a little odd. But is the WBC protecting Wilder? Have they protected him? I think they have protected him 100%, because if you look at other organizations like the WBA, the IBF, there's other organizations that they force their fighters to step up and defend their belt against a really, tough fight, or they strip them. They'll be like, if you don't defend your belt against this dude, we're going to strip you. Right? I've seen other organizations do this. I can't think of at the top of my head, but there's several organizations where they'll literally tell a guy, they'll strip you from your belt if you don't defend your belt against this guy. But, you know, Wilder, they haven't stripped Wilder at all. But, hey, man, I guess maybe they look at Wilder as, like, the golden child. I don't know. I don't know, man. You know, I don't know why they would be proud of his accomplishments. Because I'm a boxing fan, and I'm not proud of his accomplishments as a boxing fan. But, again, maybe everyone has different standards. You know, there's a lot of boxing fans out here that are Wilder fanboys that have a lot of respect for Wilder, you know, and they just turn a blind eye for his record. I remember seeing some dude, and I'm not going to mention his name, uploader, talking about that when he was talking about Wilder's record, you know. He was talking about that, you know, well, I don't really care if Deontay Wilder had, you know, fought 29 bums. It's not about that. You know, it's not about that. And then he proceeded to say Joshua was ducking him. So, you know, when I see something like that, I'm like, so you don't care about legacy. You don't care about resume. I even made a video responding to him on my own channel, you know, on my original channel. But a lot of boxing fans, I guess, think that way when it comes to Wilder. Is like they don't care that Wilder. Because, you know, when I look at a boxer, I always look at the resume. Because in my opinion, legacy and resume is very important. That's why when I look at guys like Terrence Crawford, I got a lot of respect for him. When I see guys like Andre Ward, I got a lot of respect for him. You know what I'm saying? Vladimir Klitschko, I got a lot of respect for him. You know, I respect fighters who put in the work. I respect fighters who actually fought guys that are legit. But when it comes to Deontay Wilder fans, a lot of these guys seem to not care. You know, again, that uploader that I was talking about, you know, he made me realize that's how, you know, Wilder fans are, I guess. I don't care about his first 29 fights. I don't care if he fought nothing but bums in his first 29 fights. It don't matter. It don't matter. He could still knock, you know, it does matter because legacy matters. Resume matters. When you look at boxers from the past, what do you look at? You look at their skill set, right? But you look at their resume. You look at their resume. That's the first thing you do. When you look at Sugar Ray Leonard, you know, you see that he was really fast, you know, in his prime. But what do? You look at the resume, don't you? You see the fact that he beat Marvin Hagler. You see the fact that he beat Tommy Hearns. You know, Benitez, I always forget his first name, Benitez. You know, Roberto Duran. You know what I'm saying? You see the fact that he has a lot of big, you know, world-class elite fighters in his resume. When you look at Muhammad Ali, you know, you see his skill set in his prime, right? But you also, but what do you see? You see the resume. You see the fact that, you know, he fought Sonny Liston in his prime, right? You see the fact that he fought Joe Frazier in his prime, George Foreman in his prime, Ken Norton in his prime, right? He even attempted to fight a prime Larry Holmes. So when you look at fighters from Evander Holyfield, a guy, I'm a big fan of Evander Holyfield. Evander Holyfield, when you look at his resume, you see that he wiped out the cruiserweight division when he had like less than 20 fights. Evander Holyfield was fighting for world titles when he had like what, 15 fights or maybe even less than that. Holyfield was a unified champion. He was the undisputed cruiserweight champion of the world. He had all the belts when he had like less than 20 fights. Then he beat, you know, Riddick Bowe, Mike Tyson, you know, Lennox Lewis. When you see somebody like Holyfield, a guy that I have a bunch of respect for, look at his record. Again, you don't just look at his skill set, right? You look at the guys he fought. You're like, damn, man, this dude wiped out the cruiserweight division. This dude became the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world. This dude beat guys like Riddick Bowe, Mike Tyson. You know, he fought everybody. I don't think Holyfield avoided anyone. He was like a warrior, man. So, you know, even guys like Mayweather. A lot of people don't like Mayweather. A lot of people, you know, they don't like him, and I think they don't like him because of the fact that how he used to, his personality, you know, he goes around saying money, 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 like, you know, no, like everybody's beneath him. So I think that's why people don't like Mayweather. But Mayweather, I have respect for Mayweather. Mayweather has fought a bunch of top quality guys. Diego Corrales. You know what I'm saying? A prime Diego Corrales, an undefeated Diego Corrales. I was going to say Ricky Burns, Ricky Hatton. A prime Ricky Hatton. right? Canelo Alvarez, Saul Alvarez, Manny Pacquiao. You know what I'm saying? So even Oscar De La Hoya, you know, some people could say he even though he might have been past his prime at that point. Juan Manuel Marquez. You know, a lot of people say he was too big for Marquez, but at the end of the day, when he beat Marquez, Marquez was a lot closer. You know, he was still a good fighter at the time. You know, like now, these days, he's like past it, but at the time, he was still a good fighter. You know, he went on to, I don't know, brutally knock out Manny Pacquiao. You know, people respect him for his resume, right? And also a lot of people respect him because, you know, he that money, he the A-side, you know. Anthony Joshua, I'm starting to get respect for Anthony Joshua. Because he's putting in the work. He has 20 fights. Just like Holyfield. Holyfield early in his career was, you know, fighting in big unification fights. Holyfield was fighting in unification fights at cruiserweight. When he had like 20 fights. You know, Joshua was doing the same thing. You know, and if Joshua, this is his second unification in his career. Second only. You know what I'm saying? So, this is why, I know I went on a bit of a rant, people. Sorry about that, but it's just I don't understand the whole mindset that who cares about a person's or resume? Who cares? Like, I care as a boxing fan because that's how I rate fighters. You know, that's how when I look at past fighters from the past, you know, because I'm like one of those boxing historian dudes. Not only do I see the current fighters, but I like looking up fighters that fought from like the 1920s, 1930s. I researched all. Look, I wasn't even born when Mike Tyson was fighting, right? I mean, when he was a champion. When he first, I wasn't born in the 80s, right? I wasn't alive during the 80s, people. I'm a 90s child, right? So but I looked at all of Mike Tyson's fights from the 80s. All of his fights. Because I wanted to see what was the hype about, and I became a big fan of him, right? I also look at all the fights of Joe Louis from the 1930s, people, because I recognize that Joe Louis was a long reigning champion, right? He won the belt where he lost to Max Mellon in 1936, a shocking defeat, and then he won the belt against, I believe, the Cinderella Man, but then he got his revenge on Max Mellon, but then he defended his belt for 11 years. He won it in 1937. He defended it until 1948, I believe. Then he made a comeback. Obviously, it all went downhill with, you know, Rocky Marciano and all that stuff. But yeah, the point is, people, when I look at those fighters from the past, or even fighters from the present, I always look at resume. That's how I rate them. That's how I see how great they truly were. If I see that they fought all the people, I have respect for them. But if I see that they're not fighting all the people, it's hard for me to respect them. And that's why I clown them. You know, and that's why I never understand boxing fans. When I see boxing fans, you know, going around saying, who cares about, you know, resume? Who cares about legacy? Like the World WBC, they don't even care. It seems like they don't even care because they're proud of Wilder's accomplishments. I don't understand that, man. But hey, to each their own. Let me know what you guys think of this video, guys. If you watched it from start to finish, like always, I appreciate it. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. I'm very consistent channel, constantly uploading, constantly updating my subscribers. And also, I have merch. So if you want to check out my merch, just look at the... You know, I'm going to have some stuff on the screen, also on my description. I always post it in the comment section. So yeah, guys. Again, if you watch the video, the entire video, because sometimes I don't know if everyone watches the whole video. But if you do watch the whole video, I just want to let you know I'm very appreciative of that. And yeah, guys, see you guys next time. Goodbye.